Good morning. Today is the 9th of September 2024 and I'm going to go through my trading plan and my levels for today, and then we will take a look at the order flow at the end of the levels. Before we start, let's take a look and see what news could move the market this morning. There's not a great deal going on. Nothing really tomorrow. We've got inflation rate on Wednesday, so that should see a big move in the market, so maybe things are slowing down and waiting for that. Okay, so on my screen we're looking at the ES, which is the 1 hour time frame, and this is the S&P E-mini futures. We can see we've been in a bit of a daily downtrend. We've taken out a pivot here, we've taken out a pivot here and retested it. We could say we've taken out that, we came back and retested this area as well, and what I'm looking to do is continue the trend down, and I'm really looking for a retest around this area, potentially on the trend line. Let's go to the daily and just see what we're doing volume wise. So we had a big down candle on Friday. I was away Friday, but it's a decent candle. Lots of volume as well. We had quite a bit of volume even on the smaller. So big volume that day, a bit of an anomaly here. So we had a big down candle and on slightly above average volume, two narrow range candles and not too dissimilar volume as well, and then we had this big down candle Friday on increased volume as well. So it's definitely higher than average volume. If you look at the volume when we pulled back, it was lower. Look at the volume as we're now selling off again, it's a little bit higher. So I do favour the downside as opposed to looking for long. Although there is a couple of bounce areas. So what I'm looking for really on the daily, for it to come back up into the trend line, potentially up here, and for a rejection. We are below the 50 moving average, which is this red line, and we're below the 20 and the 8 and the 8 and I think that's cost 50 as well on Friday. So we are looking more bearish and bullish right now. So my bias is going to be slightly on the bearish side and the bullish side, but I'll be watching for both bounces and rejections. So the levels for today, let's just zoom out a bit and see where we are. We've got this is the area I'm kind of watching, 5500 psychological number. I'll be watching for rejection around there. Probably a better location, I think this will be the best location, 5506 to 5510. That's a decent area we can watch for rejection. We should potentially be, we may have broken that trend line if we get up to that area, so I consider this region here for the rejection, and I'll be watching for a break of trend on the lower time frames and on the higher time frame. So we're currently in this little hourly uptrend. There is another area you can watch as well. We're going by the last two pivots, bit of area confluence, and we can also watch 5472 area. Mark that up, and it's this little pivot area from Friday before we sold off. That's in the pre-market, so it's pre-market volume, so I may not pay too much attention to that. No, let's just stick to when we get back to the trend line. So when we touch the 50 moving, this area here, I quite like that rather than looking at pre-market levels. RSI rise, we were pretty much oversold on Tuesday last week, and we're now about midway, 50%, so there's no reason why we can't see more downside. And obviously I'll be watching for the break and retest of the pre-market low as well. So we look for break and retest of Friday's low. So let's just get closer. So post market on Friday, we had Sunday we had a bit of a rally back into this region. So this is the region I'm looking for a rejection. I do quite like that region, probably where we come up to now, where the pre-market high is. So I'm looking for a double top at the pre-market high, 54.64. Not sure I like longs into this potential area of confluence and resistance. And then if we break down below the pre-market high, I'll be looking for a break and retest Probably be looking for like a reversal pattern on the hourly, a double top, something like that. Okay, so that's it. Levels are not amazing, but we're right in area of confidence right now, so potentially we'll see where the market goes. But that down candle we saw there, it's the first signs of weakness on the hourly. If we want to see a strong uptrend, you wouldn't expect to see that candle would have been all red at one point. Just zoom in. So that would have been an entire red candle, filled in and come all the way back up again. So that's our first sign of weakness, so potentially looking for a rejection in this area. So let's just keep an eye on pre-market high after the market opens, and then pre-market low for the break and retest short. So they're the two areas I'm looking for rejection up there. 54.65 and 54.35. Let's look at SPY next. Same as ES, looking for a potential break in the trend, big gap up, and break and retest of pre-market low to fill that gap. And that's 542.22. And the long over pre-market high looks a bit better than the ES. We've got a bit of distance before we get to Friday's high and the 50 moving average, so potentially we can watch for a scalp long at 544.80. And then we can watch this region here for the rejection, 548.26. I don't really see any decent bounces yet. That's it really for SPY. SPX, it's looking pretty bearish, but it is going to open up here somewhere. So potentially same levels, 54.86, big area of confidence. You can see we held that level quite a few times. Came into it there, we held it or rejected it, gapped through it, came back there, and we've yet to retest it since we broke down. So probably around 54.80 for the rejection, and then we can look for the break and retest of 5400. It's also a bounce area. You can see we bounced quite a few times, then we had a gap, came back up, we've retested it. So that is an area to watch as well, 54.08 to 5400. And we can watch out for both a bounce and a break and retest. But like I said, I'm still biasing slightly on the bearish side purely because we're based on the hourly trend we're in at the moment. NQ. So let's get rid of some of these trend lines. Don't need all these now. Or I will keep that one in because that was the original trend. We broke down, we come back, and we're still honouring that trend line. So let's keep that for a while. You can see I joined it together there. It rejected again there, came back through, kind of bounced in that area, and then we lost it, came back up, retested it again. And we came close again on Friday to retest that area. So it's an area to keep an eye on. So same as ES. I quite like the rejection up here, 18,885, 18,800 for the move back down. Or if we lose pre-market low, then I quite like the rejection. And we've got two areas. Not a great deal of volume down here as well. Most of the volume's up here, so this is another area we can watch for a rejection. If we come up to that area, that's 19,800 area, and that's it really. Yeah, again, I think I prefer. Potentially, we've got this little head and shoulders pattern going on right now. If we come back up and retest that area, then that could complete that pattern as well. QQQ. Same as ES, rejection around 467.55, 464, that area. High risk rejection around this area, well, maybe not high risk, but another valid area, 460. And then if we lose pre-market low, 451.12, break and retest short. And that's it for QQQ. Oil, this is CL, crude oil. We've lost this pattern, so for the last few weeks I've been saying it's going to go one of one, where it's either going to break out or it's going to break down. It's broken down. We never really, I suppose we did get the retest there. Came close to that retest, so if we can come back, we've got this other pivot in to watch for as well. And we can see we rejected that area as well. So I'm watching yesterday's high for the rejection. And which is Friday's high, I meant, sorry. So we're watching 69, let's say 70. That area there for the rejection. And then we can watch yesterday's low for a high risk bounce. Let's just go left. Let's see what's there. It's looking pretty negative at the moment, pretty bearish. This area here is actually a nice bounce area of confidence. And the reason I like that is because we've got bottoms of pivots here and lots of bodies of candles. Bottoms of candles there, loads of tops of candles. And you can see that area is area of confidence as well. So maybe we watch 66.43 down to 66 for the bounce. Otherwise, if we can come back up into this region, I quite like the rejection up there, the break and retest of this trend line. We haven't seen it on the daily yet, it's just broken it. We've yet to come back up to retest that area. So if the daily sets up on a retest, then I'll be watching the hourly for a retest, and then I'll go down into the lower time frames. That's oil. This is gold next. Looks like it wants to break out. It's holding this level, so we can probably watch 2500. We did talk about this level a few days ago. Watching that area for bounce, and then if we can break over 2563, we look for the break and retests. So I'm looking for it to break out, come back, retest that area, and to continue this uptrend. We've been in this nice big uptrend for some time. Come down, put in a little bit of a sideways, and it's gone back out, come back down, and now it's broken out, or it's about to break out. And that's new all-time highs, I believe. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, it's a new all-time highs. So if we can break over this pivot here, I can't see much volume up there. A little bit of volume. So break over 25.60. We can watch for the retest long. RTY. We was watching this trend line. A few days we've come back, broken it, we've retested the trend line now after we broke it, and then look at that for a big sell-off. So it's worth keeping an eye on these. RTY patterns work really well. We're now below all the moving averages apart from this 200, so we can we could look for a bounce in this region, 2060 to 2080, and I quite like the rejection at 2140 where it's below all the moving averages. And there's an area of confluence there, but tops of pivots here as well. Lows and lows of candle bodies over here, so I quite like this area for the rejection, 2140. In fact, I'm going to put in just a reminder. If we get up there, then I'll be looking for a short. And then lastly is YM. Looking pretty strong as well. I was about to say we're coming to a bounce area. So I still quite like on the daily the break and retest of 42.67, 670 I meant. Look at the hourly. We've got to get over that area. So let's just draw the trend line in. That's our current trend. While we're below it, we can look for shorts, but the daily is looking good. And I'd quite like to see it come back down onto this trend line for the bounce up, and that's around 40,200. But I do quite like the break and retest of pre-market high there, and that'll be breaking the trend line. So we can watch 40,800. And I definitely looked at the hourly on RTY. I think I was looking at the daily. So this is the hourly break of trend. Look at that beautiful. To see that pattern there, and then you see how it broke. Yeah, so same as before, 2140 for the rejection, that area, break and retest off. Yes, Friday's low, pre-market low, and that's around 2094 to 2080. Okay, and we've done YM, bounced down at 4200, and then a break and retest of pre-market high. We can also watch it for rejection. And then finally Bitcoin, we're Let's go back to the daily. I prefer the daily on this. Oh, look at that. Talk about holding this cup and handle pattern. So we got the this is the cup and this is the handle, and it's a bullish pattern waiting for a breakout. So let's just zoom in and look what happened. We came in and we bounced straight off that trend line. So 5300, we did say we can look for some ads when we get down to this area. I may have a look at that in a second. But 50,000 is an area I'm watching for a bounce. 40,000 for a bounce. But we're breaking this pattern. Let's see what happens today. Maybe we're getting our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Are we looking for a 7th bounce off this trend line? And same at the top, so it's definitely holding it. So it's interesting to see how we're going to go. Okay, and then that's it for Bitcoin. Let's go back to ES and I'm going to look at the order flow. So we're watching for a rejection, and the rejection area is around 55.50, that area 55.06. We're a bit away from it here actually. Let's just see if we've got any orders up there. 55.06, there's a few around that area. 55.10. There's a little bit of divergence going on right now, which we could be starting to see a bit of a change of trend. So we've got price coming down and then bouncing, but we're just seeing a continued sell-off on aggressive buying. So that's the difference of the two. So we'll see where we are. We could be seeing that there's more aggressive. We're in the positives, so there's more aggressive selling than buying right now. So potentially we could be setting up for a bit of a reversal. But I can't see anything really significant stands out, so I just play the levels today. So I'm just going to recap my levels again on ES. I'm watching for a pre-market high rejection. I would also consider a rejection from the trend line, maybe up towards 5500 area, this region here. I know I've got this level there, but I can just readjust that now. So there's the two areas I'm looking for, and then if we break down below pre-market low, I'm looking for a break and retest short, same as Friday's